Since it's early October, the NHL season is just underway. What better time to start off this series than with an NHL game for a gone but not forgotten system? This is Last Call Gaming, a series dedicated to final games released in North America for many classic video game systems. The Dreamcast was Sega's last home console, coming out in 1999 in the US. Unlike the final systems for some other companies, like Atari, the Dreamcast was a well-made system with good games. Despite its relatively powerful hardware and a then revolutionary online mechanic, not seen until Xbox Live launched in 2002, the Dreamcast was discontinued in America on March 30th, 2001. The console's lifespan in the West barely lasted a year, compared to the system which largely displaces the PlayStation 2, which saw releases over 12 years after its launch. With only 16 months on store shelves, the system had a relatively small library. However, that library included many classics, such as the Sonic Adventure games, Shenmue, Soul Calibur, and Crazy Taxi. While the Dreamcast is still supported through homebrew development to this day, the last official release in North America was NHL 2K2 in February of 2002, almost a year after the first release, or after Sega's first release on a former competing system. NHL 2K2 was a second release in the NHL 2K series, which continued itself until 2011 on various other consoles. It improved on many of the features present in NHL 2K. Despite its analog menus, which I never took a great liking to, and which mercifully went away with the Dreamcast itself, the game's presentation was slick, and certainly great at its time. While other games had some commentary, this is one of the first with almost every player name recorded, due in large part to the GD-ROM's larger size compared to the CD-ROM that the PlayStation and Saturn had used. The presentation in this game is fantastic. It makes one wonder what the Dreamcast games would have looked like if the system had lived on until 2005 or so. Every game starts with the home team being introduced in a grandiose manner, much like in an actual hockey game, to the arena standard Get Ready for This by 2 Unlimited, which ironically enough was used in EA's NHL 96. The gameplay takes some getting used to, especially for those used to EA's current series of games with the dual analog sticks. The button-based passing and shooting was the norm at the time, however it certainly takes some readjustment if you haven't played a hockey game from that era recently. There are some issues with collision detection, however they don't really detract from the value of the game. It still works. The game is very playable, especially for those who long for the era between Gretzky and Crosby. However, that time period may be the game's biggest flaw. Unlike older games like NHL 94, with classic teams that no longer exist like the Hartford Whalers and Quebec Nordiques, and legendary superstars like Mario Lemieux and Wayne Gretzky, and modern games with the current superstars like Sidney Crosby and Jonathan Toews, NHL 2K2 was in a transitionary phase in the NHL's lifespan, right after the retirement or downfall of some of the game's greats, and before the current crop of games came up. But, who knows, maybe one day, we'll look upon the Atlanta Thrashers as fondly as the hockey community views the Whalers. Still, even with all those flaws, the positives outweigh the negatives, and NHL 2K2 gets an official last call rating of an 8 out of 10.